After a beautiful Yontif, it was devastating and heartbreaking to learn of the passing of a dear colleague and friend, Rabbi Moshe Hauer, Zatzal, longtime Rav in Baltimore and the executive vice president of the OU. Somebody who I did not know prior to him coming to the OU. Both of whom I've had many, many interactions and genuinely enjoyed spending time listening to his opinion, having conversations, his outlook, his passion for Klal Yisrael, and exchanging Divrei Torah. He was even kind enough to write some brief words that appear on the back of my newly published Sefer. I hoped I was looking back through some of our old texts, and the last thing that I wrote to him was that I look forward to being able to present him with a copy of the Sefer upon its publication, which unfortunately I will not be able to do. But in the course of trying to look back at some of the Torah that I had heard from him, I came upon one idea from Sefer Bereishis, from Parshas Bereishis. Torah tells us on the sixth day of creation, HaKadosh Baruch Hu creates man. Hashem says, "Na'aseh Adam b'tzameinu kidmuseinu." We should make man in our image. And Rashi right away, everybody's bothered. What does it mean, Na'aseh, in the plural? HaKadosh Baruch Hu is one. Hashem is the one. He's the only one who is creating the world. What does it mean, Na'aseh Adam? So Rashi explains, Na'aseh anvasanuso shel HaKadosh Baruch Hu l'manukam. We see the humility of Hashem. Man is going to look similar to the Malachim, and they're going to become jealous. And therefore he consulted with the Malachim, even though it is unnecessary. It wasn't necessary. They weren't going to be shitvos. But Rashi, in the next Rashi, points out that this wasn't a minor point. This wasn't something small. Says Rashi, do you know what this could cause, and did cause? People to assume, the heretics, that HaKadosh Baruch Hu was not alone, that there are others. So it became misleading. So this wasn't an innocuous change that the Torah has, or statement, for the purpose of consulting with the Malachim, but it could lead one astray. And even though that's the case, lo nimna hakosum l'lami derech eretz u'midas hanava. So why did the Torah do it? The Torah did it in order to teach us about derech eretz. She'agodol nimnach v'noto rishus min hakatan. That the one who is bigger, the one who is greater, should still get rishus, get permission, consult with those who are katan, those who are lower, those who may not be as great. So Hauer quoted from Rav Yaakov Moshe Charlap, who said, but how does that answer the question? Look what the stakes are. Look how terrible it is to potentially have heretics. Okay, so derech eretz is a nice thing. Derech eretz is a nice thing. To be nice to people, to consult with people, to make people feel, it's a nice thing. But minos, if somebody could potentially think, Rachmana litzlan, there's more than one God, that's terrible. So how does Rashi answer the question? And Rabbi Yaakov Moshe Charlap answered, and again, it was just so perfect to hear from Rabbi Hauer, because this is how he lived his life, was that that's exactly the point. The point is that derech eretz is so important, that we need to teach people the proper way to interact with other people. And yes, there's a risk that it's going to happen. There's a risk that there are people who are going to become mean, there's a risk that people are going to become heretics because they're going to twist those words, but it doesn't matter. It's more important, A, to do the right thing, and B, to teach people how to interact with one another. And even when you're a person of stature, how to be able to relate to other people. Derech eretz kadma Torah, and it is that important. And that is really part of what makes this loss so terrible. Rabbi Hauer Zatzal, always, you spoke to him, and you felt like no matter what the conversation was or where he was, that he genuinely was interested in what everybody had to say. He had an infectious Ahavas Yisrael, a derech eretz, a smile. I was in a very tense meeting with him once, and not once did he raise his voice. Other people getting upset. But he listened, he responded, he paid attention. He gave everybody derech eretz. He made people, even katanim, even people not on the same level as him, he made them feel heard. And that was ultimately, it was a tool that he used. It was because he had this anava, he had this humility. And it is a tremendous koach that you have, and it is why he's been able to try and unite worlds and been a leader on so many of the issues in particular. Again, the everything related to Eretz Yisrael over the last 2 years, that there was a certain piece that Baruch Hashem, at least he was able to see and write a beautiful note prior to Yom Tov on the return of the living hostages. But it's a tremendous loss for us to lose somebody who really embodied this message of what it means to be an Ohev Yisrael, what it means to be an Anav, what it means to be somebody, again, of stature, who's not intimidated, not looking for kavod, but is able to bring in other people. And that's the lesson that the Torah says here, HaKadosh Baruch Hu, things might happen, but I still need to teach what's right. And making sure that Derech Eretz is understood, Anivus is understood, is fundamental. We should be zocheh to follow in Rabbi Hauer's model, in his footsteps, and should be an Eloi for his neshama and a comfort to his family and to all of Klal Yisrael.